Hey everybody, I just thought I would do a little talk through of the new Christmas album. If this is not your thing, that's totally fine, but if you want to hear a little bit about the thoughts and process of making the album, this is just me talking about that. I know for me, sometimes I'm listening to some of my favorite artists, and we don't really have liner notes anymore because I'm old and I used to read CD liner notes. And I just kind of wish, oh man, I wish I could just hear from the artist directly how they made this and what they were thinking when they did this in the album. So, in case you're wondering about any of that, this is me talking through my little Christmas EP that just came out. So I'm not going to listen straight through to everything, but I'm going to talk a little bit about each track in order. So starting with variations on Lo How a Rose Ere Blooming. I love this song, and if you know Mark Summers' track Julio, same guy. And in fact, at least it used to be, if you bought the music to Julio, it would come with the music to this, which is how I discovered that it even existed. So Mark Summer is known for being in the Turtle Island String Quartet, a jazz string quartet, and he uses a lot of extended techniques and kind of jazz and folk influence things in his writing. And I just love how fun these variations are. And everything he can do with just the solo cello, I think, is really awesome. In particular, as it gets into the plucking part, I had to learn how to do some finger tapping in the left hand and some slapping of the strings with my right hand, which is kind of like an electric bass or maybe an upright bass would do. Super fun. This was recorded actually in a little church in Vacaville, California when I lived out there. And I had access to this church. I could just walk down the street from our apartment. They were super nice and just let me practice in there and record in there. This was during COVID as well, so kind of some good but solitary memories of just being in this little church by myself and recording this fun tune. I wanted to start the little EP with this just because it's solo cello, so it kind of builds with more cello tracks as you go through the album, and it just seemed like a fun way to start the album. Okay, second track is O Come, Emmanuel. This is cello pits at the beginning. Now you can hear cello melody as well as mando cello strums. So I'm a sucker for Christmas carols in minor key. I don't know what that says about me, but they're just so good. This is a beautiful one and an ancient tune, and of course a traditional carol. I think all that played into me wanting to arrange it. I had a lot of fun arranging this one, and this was an arrangement where, as far as I remember, I really didn't write a whole lot out. Some of my arrangements, like the John Williams, I wrote out completely every single note. But this was more writing down probably a couple things and writing down chords and then just sitting down to record and almost improvising and building as I went and deciding, I want these strums on mando cello here, I want to do this riff in the bass line here. I think I also planned out the verses when I was going to do mando cello and cello, that kind of thing. For those unfamiliar, the mando cello is a member of the mandolin family, and it's essentially the cello version of the mandolin. So it looks like a giant mandolin, but has the same tuning as a cello. This is the only track on this album that I use it. The idea for this arrangement really started from when I was leading church music in California. I came up with the little intro and outro ditty, and it kind of turned into this. Different meter for the Mando cello verse. Mostly 5. Based on the lyrics of the original carol, I wanted this arrangement to feel like a journey, like a steady, kind of almost plodding journey. There's elements of longing and also hope in the original lyrics. So we stay solidly in C minor the whole time, but each verse has a different feel. Stacked harmonies in this one, I had fun with that. Okay. Number 3 is Walking in the Air. So this song is from the British cartoon movie, I think originally for TV, called The Snowman. And I had heard the original somewhere and heard maybe another cover somewhere. The original has orchestra and a boy soprano singing the melody. I was a boy soprano back in the day in a boy choir, so I'm sure that played into me loving this tune. And I just decided it would probably work really nicely on cello. It has this lovely, like, soaring quality to it all. I think the Snowman does fly in the movie, if I'm not mistaken. It has a great wintry feel to it. This was essentially just me taking the vocal part and a piano part for it and just covering all of that with cello tracks. I may have added a little bit of pits or something in there, but it wasn't much arranging to the original. Okay. Track number 4 is one of the brand new ones that I just recently finished and arranged. This was a commission for Greenville Symphony, where I work and where I play. For our holiday concert, I convinced them to let us do a cello section feature, so like a cello ensemble. And Home Alone is a longtime favorite of mine. I grew up watching this every year with my family. We still quote it all the time, year-round, to each other in just casual conversation. So this came to mind, and John Williams is also just a favorite composer of mine. Grew up watching a lot of movies that featured awesome John Williams soundtracks. So that's all the reasoning behind arranging this. This is arranged for 8 cellos, and so I recorded it exactly as it will be played live with 8 separate parts. When I was arranging this, I really wanted to include the intro part that if you're watching the credits at the beginning of the movie, you hear not just the Somewhere in My Memory part, but both of those, because I knew it would be really fun. So in this arrangement, I'm taking elements from the orchestra part and deciding which cello part will take that, whether it's a violin line or an original cello line or a bass line, horns, clarinets, celeste. And then, of course, when Somewhere in My Memory comes in, I'm covering the choir and the orchestra. All right, the last track is Away in a Manger. Now this is not probably the most traditional Away in a Manger tune, but a tune that many people know and love already. This tune is by, I can't remember his name. It's, William Kirkpatrick. It wrote the original tune, and this is Ola Yelo's arrangement of it, originally for a cappella choir. So I was playing a concert a couple Christmases ago, and I heard a choir do this, and just thought it was so beautiful. The beauty, I think, is in the simplicity of this. The full choir is just holding all these sustained chords and gently moving harmonically underneath the solo, and then there's one solo line. That's it. Unexpected harmonies for this tune, but they work so well. This was also, I didn't have to do any arranging really. I just covered the choir parts and the solo vocal part. I changed maybe 1 or 2 octaves in a place or two, but otherwise it's pretty much like the original. All right, so that's the album. It was a fun process to put together, and it was really created over several Christmas seasons. I don't typically have a ton of time to sit down and just record a full album, so it's been kind of slowly growing to these 5 tracks. But it was really fun to put together. The recording process, when I get into it, can be really fun. Also just challenging when you're trying to stack a lot of tracks together, like in this track or Home Alone, for instance. Because you're trying to stay in pulse and in tempo with yourself and other tracks. Also stay in tune with yourself with multiple tracks. And of course still be expressive and musical and have phrasing, but you're dealing with yourself never at the same time. So it's tricky. It's tricky. In some ways it would be easier just to have, a full cello ensemble to record with, and maybe that's the next album, is I'll get together a bunch of cello colleagues and record a cello ensemble live. That'd be really fun. But hope you enjoy this little Christmas EP, and hope you enjoyed this little talk through if you enjoy nerding out about kind of the behind the scenes of how music is made, and enjoy.